Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. It's Sunday, the day after Juventus 2, Torino 0, Torino e rimane bianconera. Take a seat, guys, because we have a lot of things to speak about. It could potentially be a long one, so some popcorn or some breakfast, whatever you want, but enjoy that one because we have a lot of things to speak about, and we will do it through some stats, some images, some individual judgment, also speaking about Thiago Motta, what he did right or not, but also going towards the real images of the game of yesterday, because since we started, this is something that you tell me, Beppe, you need to continue. You really need to continue because we are seeing things that probably during the game we were not able to watch. Are you ready? Put a maximum of like if you didn't yet. Please continue to subscribe to the channel to make the channel bigger and bigger and bigger. You know it. We have one target before the end of the year, 35,000 Juventini. I think that we missed something like 400, so I'm counting a lot of you. It cost you 0. It's helping me a lot. Now that we are ready, we start with that 2-0. A beautiful win for Juventus. That was important. Look, what about the game of this evening? That this evening I will enjoy whatever the result. Inter against Napoli. Of course, only if we won yesterday that game, we could enjoy it. If we lost or we drew, it would have been a total disaster. I would not have enjoyed that game. Cambiaso is saying something totally right yesterday after the game. He's saying, what about Inter or Napoli? Well, we need to think about ourselves. We need to think about ourselves and only winning. We need to win. We must win, which we did yesterday. So I totally agree with the words of Cambiaso. At the moment, it's not that much important, Inter or Napoli. The most important thing is that one of them, if not both of them, are losing points so that we can catch up. And as we speak, I watched the first half of Udinese-Atalanta. Atalanta-Udinese, because they are playing in Bergamo, and it's 1-0 for the Bianconeri that are playing in yellow today, Udinese, and they absolutely deserve that score at halftime. Of course, Atalanta will come back, so... But anyway, everything is possible in football. You know what I did this morning? Instead of going to the ranking of Serie A, I did something crazy. You will tell me, Beppe, you're totally crazy. You know what I did? Instead of going really to the Lega to understand if we are second or third with 24 points, I went to the season 2011-2012. Yes, that season of Antonio Conte with Juve, that first one that we opened the era of the 9 consecutive Scudetti. You know why I did it? Because at the moment we didn't lose. 6 wins, 6 draws, 0 defeats after 12 games of Serie A. Look, I went back, and after 12 games, well, they did a bit better because they had 7 wins and 5 draws. 26 points, we have 24. We are there, guys. When I did that, it means that deep in my heart, I want to avoid it. I want to ignore it. I don't want to think too much about it. But deep in my heart, I start thinking about it. Hey, it is what it is. The most disgusting thing that we saw yesterday, and I hope it will never happen again, but unfortunately, there are some people, they don't deserve to have the opportunity to watch a game of football. Torino fans that after the game, during the game, whatever, they started to break down the stadium. They threw some seats from where they were originally to throw them towards the stadium. They broke the toilets. They broke the lamps, the lights into the toilets. A total disaster. If you watch these images, you will understand how disastrous it was. I hope we will not see these images again because... I don't know. Okay, I understand it's a derby. I understand the rivalry. I understand that you lost and that you are not happy. I understand that you are pissed off with your own ownership and not with Juve. But at a certain moment, basta. This is absolutely not acceptable. Beasts more than humans. That's how I want to call them. Anyway, what about the game? Because now we start speaking about the game. The momentum is clear. First half totally dominated by Juve with 0, but seriously, 0 risk. The regrets I had at the first half was that we didn't close the game. We had an opportunity a few times to close it, we didn't, and then you keep the game alive. And we see it, we didn't enter that well in that second half, maybe because of fatigue, because all the games that we played one after the other. I can understand it, but you need to rest from the moment that you close the game, not when the game is still open. Torino thought yesterday totally inoffensive. They were not offensive, they were not dangerous, they were not as aggressive as I would think. They didn't honor the Derby della Mole yesterday, but on the other side, you see that we started to give them the ball in that second half, and they enjoyed having that possession, even if it was a sterile one. A Juventus that was slow in that second half, in a certain moment, boring, where at a certain moment you have again that change of Conceição that is entering to give a bit of dynamism to the game and waking up up our players, which we did with that beautiful, fantastic second goal. But a game without any problem. Some people will say, or a few people said yesterday after the game, that Juventus played bad. On that one, I totally not agree. When you're looking at stats, for example, Juventus had all the shots on target, shots off target. Juventus had the possession of the ball. They were winning the duels. Juventus had the accuracy in the passes. All the stats are going to Juve, of course. Football is much more than stats, but also when you're watching the game. Juventus didn't risk. Juventus, they invited at a certain moment Torino to play, but they didn't risk. They never risked. The game was never really a doubt. What I was scared about was not to concede a goal because Torino deserved it, but because of stupidity, because of someone that lost for concentration, because we fell asleep. And luckily at the end it didn't happen because Torino was really nowhere. But no, Juventus was really solid. Juventus was doing their game more and more towards that 4-2-4, where we really see Locatelli and Thuram that are taking care of the entire midfield, with a Koopmeiners that is free to take the position that he wants in the game. And the same we can say about Cambiaso. But it's really a 4-2-4 that Juventus is playing, the Juventus of Thiago Motta. One of the things that I regret as well is that, and it's not the first time, Juventus is never playing centrally. Never vertical centrally. And it's a pity because the few times that we do, that it's against Udinese, that it's against Lille, that it was yesterday, well, it pays. It pays off. Sometimes we are extremely dangerous and we miss. The other times we even score. So that's something that we really need to start improving, because when you're looking at stats and you see that we play 45% on the left, 37% on the right, and only not even 80% centrally, you know that that's something that we really need to pay attention for, and trying more opportunities there to avoid being predictable, a Juve that is only going to the wings. So before going into the images of who did well and how with the real-time images, let's open the pages just to see what they're saying. Tutto sport, sempre Juve, always Juve. We lost one derby della Mole since 1995, and it was in 2015, a year that anyway gave us the Scudetto. Except of that, we or drew or we won all of them. So it's always Juve. A derby della Mole for the story, for the narrative that is losing a bit of power, especially in the state that Torino is since a few years. But on the other side, I will not complain too much. But it's true, sempre Juve, always Juve. La linguaccia. Well, yesterday, guys, I predicted a 2-0 before the game with goals of Koopmeiners and Yildiz. Koopmeiners didn't score, it was Weah. But I was really close to my prediction, but it was written in the stars that Kenan would score. Looks like, you know, he's choosing the games where he really wants to score, or he goes with small games where he's scoring a fantastic goal that is remembering as Del Piero, or he's choosing to do it in the first game of Champions League like Del Piero did against Dortmund with a goal alla Del Piero, or the day of the birthday of Del Piero. But yesterday it was written, so it was actually easy to predict, and he did it, and he celebrated also with La Linguaccia, with the tongue of Alex Del Piero. But the most important thing, more than Kenan, Yildiz, or the individuals, of course, are Juventus, the team. And that's why I like also the title of Gazzetta dello Sport. They saying Avanti signora, we move forward, old lady, which is totally correct. Oh, Motta yesterday said we were serious yesterday and we were solid. It's a derby that we totally deserved, and I totally agree with Thiago Motta analyze. Look, if you are looking at the clean sheets of this Juve in Serie A, not speaking about the Champions League, it's already 9 on 12 games. The last time that we were able to do 9 clean sheets in 12 games was in 2014-2015, in the first 12 games of Serie A. Pay attention, not during the middle of the season. So it's a Juve that is really a wall. Described like that by Opta Paolo, we are actually the best one in terms of clean sheet in the big 5 European leagues. It's important in a start of a project where Thiago Motta is always pushing for that balance, defensively and offensively. When he spoke about Weah, he also wanted to underline not only the offensive, beautiful game of Timo, but also the defensive game. And that's something that a lot of people, they will sometimes forget. The other aspect of football that is as important than the other one. But it's a Juve that we see, that it's a Juve that is growing. Game after game, minute after minute, day after day. It's a Juve that is growing defensively, offensively. You remember the Juve that had inability to score, that found really difficulty to score. We see a Juve that is starting to find ways to score, not only with Dusan Vlahovic. At a certain moment it was or only Dusan or nobody scores. Well, yesterday again, 2 other ones, Weah and Kenan, it's important to see these players scoring. Of course, we are waiting for the goals of our midfielders with Koopmeiners, with Locatelli, with the other ones, but at the moment it's working. We are finding diverse solutions, which in the beginning of the season we were lacking it. And then also the beautiful improvement and growth of some players that or we didn't wait for, or we gave up on, and I'm speaking especially about Awea or Manu Locatelli. Yesterday I pointed out 4 men of the match, or 4 the best one after Cambiaso, because Cambiaso was my MVP, like Gazzetta dello Sport, but I also pointed out the performance of Locatelli, the one of Yildiz, and the one of Wea. I think that these ones were probably the best 4 of the game of yesterday, even if all of them played quite well yesterday. And Gazzetta dello Sport is giving all of them a 7. You know, it made me laugh before the game because I saw a tweet reported by juvefc.com that was actually praising Locatelli with stats from Data MB, comparing him with all the midfielders of Serie A. The first one in terms of tackles, in terms of long passes, in terms of forward passes in 90 minutes, in terms of progressive passes, second in terms of passes in final third, and second in blocked shots. There was someone that wrote below, chances created, how much? What about the assist? How much? What about the goals? How much? It's a pity, I think. It's really a pity, I think, that we need to analyze players only about these stats that are also important in football. But if we start speaking about that and we don't judge the amazing performance of Locatelli, not only yesterday, but since the beginning of the season, we are probably missing something. And then, guys, we can even add, if we want to how many penalties did he save, Locatelli? 0? Then it's bad, because you see, we have other players like Perin, for example, that saved 1 penalty. You know, if we start speaking about stats and things like that, we need to pay attention what we are analyzing for the role of the players and also for the request of the coach. Yesterday, again, 90 minutes played by Loca, 6 long balls completed, 6 balls recovered, 91% pass accuracy. He was extremely good, and when you're looking at the heat map, it's a player that was everywhere. Having a player like Locatelli on the field is helping also the team to play better, because he's covering wherever he needs to be, but not only this time sacrificing himself for the team, but he's doing the essential thing. You will see at a certain moment when we go towards the images what Locatelli did and what he was not doing the last few seasons. What about Kenan Yildiz? Well, it's a bit the same discussion. Kenan Yildiz, Manu Locatelli. Kenan Yildiz that last season played in a 3-5-2 as a second striker, starting a bit more on the left, while this season is really playing in that 4-2-4, extremely wide, and probably he will not have the same statistic that we were expecting in terms of goals, in terms of assists. If Kenan would not have scored, probably a lot of people would not have spoke as good as we are speaking today about Kenan Yildiz, about the performance of yesterday. But yesterday it was fantastic. He was really fantastic, defensively, offensively, and then when he has the ball, when the ball goes to his feet, mamma mia, what a poet, I want to say. It was really poetry. Was really beautiful. A nutmeg, a sombrero. You need to put him down if you want to stop it. It was unstoppable yesterday. And then the fact that when he's going towards the goal, he knows how to score. He feels the goal and he has it really in him. Beautiful performance from him. And then can we speak about the MVP of yesterday, Andrea Joao Cambiaso. Mamma mia. I said it before the game. The key of the game to beat Torino would be, or should be, Cambiaso, because of his unpredictability in doing everything on the field. You never know what will be the next move of Andrea Cambiaso. And if you go towards the images, you will really see that it's a Cambiaso that is able to do everything. And difficult for Torino to stop him. Yesterday, what a volume of game. 96 touches. It was the first one in terms of ball touch, because he received the confidence also from his teammates. Yesterday, 64 passes, 59 succeeded with a 92% of pass accuracy. 6 passes in final third, 100% pass accuracy in final third. He's a complete player. Look at that. Now we go towards the moment that you were all waiting for. After 40 minutes, what happened during the game? You see that in that first goal at the 18th minute, you see a Cambiaso that is on the wing, that is starting as a left back, and he decides to do something that we are not doing enough, according to me. Deciding to go with own initiative. He sees that everyone is blocked. He could possibly go easy to Thuram, but Thuram is really man mark on that moment, because easily he will be alone with 3-4 players of Torino around him. So Cambiaso decides to go alone, to go alone, to dribble, to actually break the lines of Torino. And there you see that it's already something where we can say we are in equalizing in terms of numbers of players. It's a 3 against 3 up front with Cambiaso that is still holding the ball. Cambiaso decides to continue to use his velocity because he's a fast player with the ball on his feet. He's going there up, and then he goes on target. It's a Vanja Milinkovic-Savic that is actually deflecting that ball, and then you will have a Timothy Weah that will go with a tap-in. But something that I wanted to show you there is actually the fantastic movement, the striker movements of Timo Weah. Because if you look with another angle of that camera, you see that when Cambiaso is approaching that big box, you see that Timo Weah is nowhere to find, actually extremely wide on the right side, making sure that the defense of Torino is really well positioned, but they are not taking care of Weah because he's way too far away from what is happening at that moment. Then you see on the second frame that Weah is getting closer to his defender. I think it was Lazzaro. He's going there where Cambiaso is not able to see him. Cambiaso go on target, and then the fantastic, beautiful movement of Weah. Instead of being attracted by that ball, what a lot of players would do, he decides actually to attack that second post. You see that run that is actually changing direction. He's going to the right side, and that's actually where he's totally free and unmarked. If he would have cut inside, well, the defenders would have been on him. He decides to go there. That's a really smart run from Timo Weah. It's in the, because people will say, but it's a tap-in. It's super easy to score that one. I would have scored it. Yes, probably you would have scored it, but would you have done the same run? The same intelligent run, going from nowhere, making yourself invisible, and then appearing again in the right moment. Then you see 3 minutes later, after that we scored, you see again a Cambiaso, that this time he deciding to cut vertically, centrally, what I am asking a lot of time. Instead of playing horizontal, going to the wings, try, because we have the capacity to do it. He's doing it, he's dribbling his man, and then people will say he was selfish on there, but you see that he has really a beautiful open window to go on target. He just went on target 3 minutes before. It's totally correct to try it. Then, of course, he misses it because the ball goes over the goal. Another one with the Kenan Yildiz, I'm not sure if you will be able to see it or not, but he's scanning everything that is happening around him. And he sees a Weah that is again doing the beautiful run there. So you see a Kenan Yildiz watching the movement of Weah. From the moment that he controls the ball, he saw that Cambiaso again is asking for the ball. So again, the small, intelligent, smart run of Andrea, where Kenan Yildiz decided to go with a backheel pass to Andrea Cambiaso that goes full velocity. His man has been beaten because he was not expecting it. And you have a Cambiaso that is running on that wing, totally isolated alone. Look at the smart call-up from Koopmeiners. A Koopmeiners that is coming back and actually finding the right position, being totally unmarked, and asking to Cambiaso, give me the ball, which Cambiaso will do. And then we have a shot from Koopmeiners with his left, deflected in corner kick. Another beautiful thing that probably we need to use a bit more. These are the passes for Vlahovic. This is the biggest quality of Dusan Vlahovic that we never use. It's actually the same thing that we saw when we conceded against Lille, the one of Jonathan David that is able to go through the spaces and run. Well, yesterday, Nicolo Savona with one touch with a long ball that goes over Coco, the defender. Look at that. You have a Dusan Vlahovic that is winning his physical duel, winning actually the time there, and then trying to go on target with his left foot. So these are the things that we can use as well. Not always going horizontal, waiting, building up, but when we have the velocity, trying to use a Dusan Vlahovic much more in these kind of things. Then for people that says we are expecting more from Koopmeiners, what are you expecting more? The goal. That's the only thing that is missing, because yesterday, again, creating spaces, being in the right moment, in the right position, always being there, and then a fantastic, beautiful assist that Weah scores, controlled with the arm, otherwise it would have counted, but then only a great, smart, intelligent, probably phenomenal player can do these passes, cutting all the defense in two of Torino, finding Timo Weah that will control it, and then, of course, touch it with the hand, so it was cancelled. On that second goal, we see a few players, what they can give to Juve. A Locatelli that in one touch is giving a perfect ball to Conceição. I want to stop on that image before continuing. Why? Because a Locatelli on a 1-0 at the 85th minute last year, would have probably stopped there, controlling the ball, touching it 1, 2, 3, turning himself and probably finding someone that was behind him, a Gatti, a Danilo, or whoever. In that moment, what he decides to do is taking the risk. That's what we were asking last year to do. So it's not only a Locatelli that is everywhere sacrificing and doing the dirty work. No, when he has the possibility to change the game, to make actually the game going faster, accelerating it, he's doing it. Look at the pass in one touch to Conceição that is extremely perfect. Conceição, another player that we didn't even mention right now, except of one time. With that dynamism, with that unpredictability, he has like 6 eyes, I believe. Because on that moment here, he's taking that ball, he's one-on-one against his defender, and he's looking in his eyes. He's looking nowhere else at that moment. It's a 1-against-1. It's the Bold, the Beauty, and the Ugly. You know, the movie there. It's the first one that will shoot. It's extremely beautiful. But in the meanwhile, you have again a Timo Weah that in the preseason, when I said when Dusan Vlahovic will be tired, we will see Timo Weah as a number 9 taking his position. People were mocking him. People were saying, Beppe, you're crazy. Timo Weah, never. Look at that. Look at the movement that he's doing, a striker movement. But in the meanwhile, we have a Kenan that is preparing to celebrate the goal. The goal alla Del Piero, at least the celebration alla Del Piero. You have a Conceição that is actually beating his man there with his unpredictability. And then a fantastic, beautiful cross that is just perfect, cutting in also because Kenan was there, scoring with a header. I love when our strikers, our technical strikers that can do everything with the ball with their feet, they are also able to use their head. I criticized a lot Paulo Dybala for that, for being at Juve, I believe, 7th season, 8th season, I don't know. Scored 101 goals, never with a header. He didn't score any goal. We have a Kenan that is also able to do it. To become a complete striker, you need to do it. And Alessandro Del Piero scored goals with a header. It was not the biggest one. It was 173. Then if we are speaking about the Kenan is I believe 10 centimeters more than Del Piero. So that's something that he needs to do as well. And yesterday he saw it. He could have gone with a beautiful acrobatic shot or whatever. No, he decides to go with the most efficient one. It was the header. He goes there, boom, the angle is beautiful. What I didn't appreciate was the 88th minute when you have a Torino that is pushing because they are losing 2-0 and we gave up on that moment. You see here, you have the number 10 of Torino that is behind, he's actually in front of 3 of our players, Kalulu, Thuram and Cambiaso. He's able too easily to cross, that ball goes in the air. You have a Danilo that is against this player. Danilo is actually winning that aerial duel, taking that ball, putting it not centrally, that would have been a total disaster because you have already a player that is waiting for the ball, but putting it actually on the side, so actually good from Danilo. He's totally there, but you see the 3 players that are actually walking. Kalulu, Cambiaso and Thuram, they give up already. They are walking, and you see it also there. They continue to walk with at a certain moment the Kalulu that is starting to activate himself, but Cambiaso walks. Thuram already lost the number 9 Sanabria, and that's where that ball has been deflected, and it's too late to recuperate him. So also there, 88 minutes, you never know how many injury minutes the referee will give. If they score that one, it's a hell. And we give up because we didn't go with a fino alla fine spirit because 3 of our players were walking. Something that we need to do much better. Guys, that was it for me for the long video. What can I say about the game of yesterday? Was it the most entertaining, spectacular one? No, but a really beautiful, solid Juve. A Juve that is growing as a team. A Juve that is growing individually. Did I speak about Thiago Motta? No. And that's good, because there is nothing to say. Yesterday he found the perfect lineup to start. Yesterday he found the perfect players to enter, even if he didn't need to. He waited. People were pushing, we need. He waited at the right moment. Again, only Conceição was needed at that moment. That's what we said yesterday. In the live, people were saying, Beppe, who would you change? I said, I don't know. The only I would do is Conceição at the moment to give a bit of dynamism. And who would I change? I said, I don't know. Well, why not Vlahovic? Remember? That's what he did. I start to enter the mind of Thiago Motta. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because that's why I start to be also good with my predictions. Ragazzi, put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy your Sunday, your family, whatever. Grazie, forza. Juve.